Hey guys, and it's Flight Sim Today here. I just want to say thank you for watching this video. The content you're about to watch was taken originally from Airline to Sim, who are no longer training. You cannot even get this program anymore. It's gone. Originally £40, it was an in-depth and really good resource for the A320, which is still relevant today if you're using the Phoenix program. Originally hosted by Ben, and they had a guy called James who was a real airline A320 pilot. I will be taking the 27 episodes where possible, snipping them up into much smaller chunks, making it easier for you to digest, and maybe you don't want to learn one thing but learn another. So if that's your thing, please do subscribe so that you can keep up to date with all the new videos that will be coming out over the coming weeks and related to this.
Okay, right, let's go up to the GPWS. I know this one, ground proximity warning system, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. I don't know you. I can do the rest of the course.
So I'll go.
Okay, so okay, let's start from the left then. So terrain.
Yeah, so this is the terrain function of the GPWS. So basically, you know, when you get the pull up, terrain ahead.
Okay.
That's that part of it. And that is separate from the EPGWS, which is the terrain on ND button. We'll come to that later on, but this is a separate system.
Okay, so this part is the kind of oral warnings.
Yeah.
Whereas the other bit is actually the stuff that's displayed to you on the map. And
this is based on what the aircraft can see.
Okay.
In terms of it's not using a database, it's using radio altimeter, sort of functionality. So this is sort of more accurate than the other one.
Okay, all right. So you can turn it off.
You can turn it off.
There might be situations where you need to turn it off, but generally speaking, we're not going to touch
Generally,
this.
It's always left on. But for example, there's some approaches that give incorrect warnings, so then you would turn it off, and it would tell you, at this miles, turn it off because you're going to get an incorrect warning.
So, for example, if you've got a Greek Islands program, Samos is a place where you often get a terrain warning because you're flying, basically towards a big mountain and then making a turn at the last minute.
Exactly. So then you could brief the guy, hey, you know what, we're going to maybe get an undue warning, let's turn off.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then SIS?
System turns all of those modes after it off.
Okay.
So it turns basically the whole GPWS off.
Right, okay.
And that's if...
So you won't get the kind of too low gear, too low flat. You won't get any of that.
It's all gone, yeah. And the reason I think that button's there is there could be some sort of fault that cause it to just... You need to get rid of the whole system because it could be spurious. So you can just turn the whole thing off with that button.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So GS mode, flat mode, and landing flap 3. I have a suspicion I know what landing flap 3 is. You can land in the Airbus without full flap.
That's correct. Yeah, they call it a reduced flap landing.
Okay.
So flaps 3. So you can land with flaps full or flaps 3. And if you do choose to land flaps 3, you've basically got to tell the aeroplane, hey, I am landing flaps 3. You do that by pressing one button in the MCDU to tell it performance-wise, hey, I want you to calculate the performance of flaps 3. And then you've got to tell the GPWS, by the way, don't freak out when I'm on the approach and I've only got flaps 3 out.
You haven't set the flaps. What are you doing?
It's like, I know. But then you have to tell it to do that with a button. So.
Okay. All right. So we'll come to that. We'll maybe have a look at a flap 3 landing. Is there an advantage in a flap 3 landing? You're going to land a bit faster, I'm guessing.
A little bit faster, a little bit less fuel used, and quieter.
Okay.
So, and a lot of people actually, they quite like the way it lands flaps 3. It's more like a Boeing.
Okay.
It's more conventional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is interesting.
So we'll come back to that, and maybe we'll do a flap 3 landing later in the program.
Yeah.
Flat mode, does that turn off your too low flaps?
I believe that's what it does. Yeah.
Okay, you've never pressed this button. These are buttons you've
never
pressed it.
I hope I don't have to press it.
Yeah, I guess so. And then glide slope mode, does this turn off the glide slope warning? So if you go below the glide slope or above it,
it turns it off. So you'll get one that says too low, glide. I think it says glide slope. Yeah. And then it will say it again louder. Okay. And you can turn this off because you might be flying a visual approach. And in the background, sometimes the Airbus can tune the ILS, even if you don't tell it to. So, yeah, but realistically, don't turn it off unless you're told.
Okay, all right. So they're, again, not switches that you'd normally be touching.
No.